It's the bench. It's the bench. Monday edition. Let's go. Hello, Pilipinas. That timing was kind of that timing was kind of wide. Hello, Pilipinas. This is the bench, and welcome to our huddle, where we discuss anything and everything basketball from a bunch of regular dudes who eat, sleep, and breathe hoops. See, now that threw me off already, right then, already. That whole, you said we were live, but we weren't really live, and I was going to do the start. And hi, everyone. So it's a Monday night. This is our Monday edition of the bench where we'll be showing our stats and getting into our huddle today, and then our overtime portion. So tonight, with me, I'm Julio, Dubs Die Hard. We have Mike.
What's up? What's up? Go Spurs, go!
And
Man,
Jay.
Jay not being here
I
really
know
threw you off, huh?
it threw me off talaga. Jay not here last minute, but that's okay. I hope he's watching, and I hope you're there, Jay, just to make us kulit. So hope we get you back on Thursday. Okay, so what's up? What's up since our last episode?
Well, there's been a bunch of games since the last episode, so
I know. Okay, so
yeah.
before we start, um, everyone who's watching this, please do like and follow us on Facebook, The Bench Live. Yep, it's right there. The Bench Live, and subscribe onto our YouTube channel. Is it The Bench Live also, Mike?
No, we don't have a we don't have a personalized URL. We need a couple of
It's
subscribers
yeah,
to get
it's
that going.
yes. So please
So
subscribe to us
yes,
so we can get
yes.
our own link on YouTube and not say www.gobbledygook.com. Okay, let's go. Let's start this baby out. Okay, so our first thing up here is we're going to be doing our live our standings update for
Yep.
today, updated as of today. Oh, let's go to the east muna. Let's go up. So after all the games so far since over the weekend, this is technically the first week. No, the first week's done of the NBA.
Yes. hmm
It's
Well,
a
we're
Monday.
calling this week too, cause kind of week. Yeah.
No, this is the start of week two talaga. This is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
the start
Yep.
of week two,
Yep.
diba? So um, even in fantasy pa nga, this is the start of week two. So if you see, look who's leading up there, Mike, in the East.
Man,
We have
it's yep. I mean, it's a totally out of it's so out of whack the standings now. It's making our predictions look stupid.
well, no,
I know it's early. I know it's
yeah, the
early,
standings
but
are always out of whack early. But if you
yeah.
notice, we have the Chicago Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets
Yes.
and the Wizards who are playing actually tomorrow. So they're still all undefeated.
Right. Yep. And yeah, I
And
mean, I'd be lying if I say I'm not surprised, dude. I knew that. Diba, you kind of the Bulls were really trending going into the season with all their preseason
yes,
moves. But yeah, man. I mean,
I
awesome
didn't
that they're
expect them to.
yeah.
No,
I
you know
did
what? Oh, go. I was just
no,
thinking
yeah.
kasi about something. And
I didn't expect them to go. I mean, to be this hot off the gates.
my take right now is that both teams on top of the East are high octane, exciting
Right.
teams. If you notice,
Yes.
you
Yep.
have the Bulls and Charlotte. Dude, the Bulls now is like the highlight sequence now on like Bleacher Report with what Caruso and
Right. Right.
Levine and
Yeah, man.
Lonzo
I
Ball
mean,
are doing, and DeRozan. So everyone there
yep.
is like, they're dunking the ball. And of course, it's funny how it's funny how Caruso, di ba Caruso with the Lakers was so popular because of
hmm
his efficient intensity on the
Yeah.
court.
Yep.
I was listening to the Bulls announcers in one of the games, and they're all in with Alex Caruso, man.
I mean,
Super
yeah.
all in sila.
He's a. I mean, he's a fan favorite. I think he'll be a fan favorite everywhere,
I
everywhere he
know.
goes.
Ball
But
bombed.
it's just he has that charisma, dude. His
Okay.
game has that charisma.
So you have the Bulls right there, 3-0. You have Charlotte at 3-0, Washington at 2-0, but you really want to talk about them?
Nah, day na
Nah,
yan.
they
In
na yan.
Jay's word, day.
Day na yan. New York Knicks
The
two and
Knicks,
one.
man. Yep.
Yeah, well, they lost to the Magic, kanina. So that
Yeah.
was like that was weird, man. But they still have a winning record. Milwaukee Bucks 2-1, Philadelphia 2-1. Miami's at 1-1. I think they're playing today also.
I think one thing worth noting with the Bucks also is they don't have centers right now. And Giannis has had to play
Oh yes,
a lot of the five spot in the last two games at least, because I think Brook Lopez played the first game, but then he went down, and
yes,
then wasn't
yes.
able to play the last two games.
He's been injured actually.
Portis is still out, so it's basically just Giannis in the middle.
You actually didn't realize that, but yeah, Lopez has been out and Portis pa nga. So they really don't have
Hmm.
that. Who was it last year for them? Did they have? They had Robin Lopez last year. Oh no, wala na yun,
Yes,
tagal na yun.
wala
Or
na.
they
But
did.
Portis played. Diba? Si Portis played a lot of that
Yeah,
ano
yeah,
also.
yeah,
Dalawa
yeah, yeah,
sila
yeah.
ni Giannis. So whenever Brook Lopez would come out, it would be Portis, and diba? They were
Yeah.
flipping it
Yep.
depending on the matchup.
So rounding up the top eight as of right now would be Philadelphia, Miami, and Atlanta.
Philly, diba? Philly with all
Yeah.
the Ben Simmons drama.
Wala pa si Ben
Two and
Simmons
one.
nun.
Yeah.
Wala pa, wala pa si Ben Simmons nun.
Yeah.
Wow, it was Seth Curry. I think it was today. He had 23 points naman in the first quarter. Ginaya niya yung kuya niya. Just saying, but no,
Yeah.
he got
Yeah.
23 points. So and then okay, and then in the bottom, see these are the bottom dwellers right there. So I guess in Jay's words, lahat muna to what? Day na yan lahat, or
Then,
does
well,
anyone here
then I
shock
think
you?
it's worth noting also na, you know, 3 games into the season,
Doesn't
some
mean
of these,
shit.
yeah, it doesn't mean shit just because also the matchups of
Yeah,
the gates of the first three, like for instance, I mean, you could talk about the Pacers and the Nets. They've had tough competition in the first 3 games compared to, as
yes.
opposed to, other teams who would, be
Well,
facing.
unless you consider Charlotte a tough competition for the Brooklyn Nets, I mean, I
Well,
would
if they're,
think na.
I mean, now I do because they're off the gates with a 3-0 record.
Diba?
Diba?
Actually, I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna disregard all the other teams na nga on this list, all the other teams on that list. But then look, you have the Brooklyn Nets and the Celtics below there at 1 and 2. So we'll see. I mean, it's like you said, it's
I think
early.
it's early, and I think one of the things the top teams, the undefeated teams at least, have in common is they have the element of surprise because they have totally
Yeah.
different
Yep.
lineups. So
I agree.
it's not something that could have been scouted last year, or you know what, we're facing the Bucks. We know what Giannis is gonna do. We know what the Bucks are
Yeah.
gonna do. So if you're talking about Chicago, uh, Charlotte, diba?
And
It's
Washington.
and even
Washington is a
Washington, which is
completely new
yeah, ayun,
lineup,
diba?
pare.
They 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 dumped a player who brought a lot of turnovers. I mean, that's what you get. 3-0.
Yeah. Kuzma is talking the truth.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
diba? So okay. Uh, wala pa si Rozier nun, ah. Anyway,
Yes.
we go to the West, and with the West,
Wow.
there are four. Well,
Wow.
dude, come on, man.
Parang ano tayo,
California sweeping on such a
tama-tama. I think tama-tama
I wanted
our
Jay to be
outfit.
here nga eh. What?
Tama-tama our outfit. Eh. We're covering from top to bottom in reverse order lang in the how we're.
Wait, can I make silip na nga? Can I make No naman,
Ayan,
you
no?
have okay. You have what's that? You have one win naman ah. Are you talking about that?
Yeah. But we're not
Yeah, yeah.
counting. Are
No,
you
but
really counting OKC as part of the league at this point?
I will right now when the Warriors meet them twice this week yata or
Di
something.
ba si OKC, ano yan eh, parang by game yan for
Yeah.
for the rest of the league. So anyway, so
No,
let's
so we
go to the
start off.
Warriors, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, let's
I'll
start
give
off.
you the floor.
No, there are four undefeated teams in the West right now.
Okay.
It's Golden State, the Utah Jazz, T Wolves, and the Nuggets. And I think the Nuggets and the Jazz are playing tomorrow also. And off the top, off the top of my head, Warriors looked good in preseason. So this is just an extension of what went on in preseason. They were deep in the preseason. Everybody saw it.
Mhm.
And they showed the league in the first week by beating quality teams. Huh? We're talking about the
Right.
Lakers, the Clippers. The Kings are a better squad, but let's say na lang, let's not muna include them as the quality
Yeah.
teams, so to
Yeah.
speak. But they did beat the Lakers and the Clippers. I find this more, well, what I find more interesting here is the Timberwolves that are starting 2-0.
Yes, yes.
And they did the same thing I think last year. I think even or something like that, that they wouldn't. I don't know what you think they're competing now. Is that what's going on?
Well, ako, let's see. It's too early to say, but from the looks of it, ako, parang if you look at the Wolves on paper, yeah, they don't have vets, but they have players that can bring it every night, diba? You have Carl Anthony Towns who is a stat stuffer also. You have D'Lo who did pretty well in his Nets days. So in theory, they should be, last year, if you look at
Yeah,
last year, they should have done better than they did. But yeah, given the injuries na rin. But this year, they're adding, no, well, they added last year si Anthony Edwards, and
yeah,
Anthony Edwards is he's balling this year, diba? I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so I think they're competing now, and I think, they'll probably still struggle to make that last seed in the West with the stacked conference, but I think they'll be higher. They'll definitely be higher, and I think they'll definitely be contenders in for that play-in spot
yeah. I think since
this
that
year.
what's that basta alam ko new owner yung Timberwolves, so baka sinabi
Yeah,
ni
that's
is it
another reason also, diba?
Alex Rodriguez ba yun?
Yeah,
Who bought
A-Rod.
them? A-Rod. So yun. I think he just wants to win. And they have players naman like you said. I think si Cat and D'Lo, technically they're vets already. They should
They're
be, di ba?
technically, if you look at it on paper, they're supposed to be more savvy than the Grizzlies at this point with the roster
Yes,
they
oo nga.
have. They even have Pat Bev na now, diba, who
Yep.
can, kind of change the character of that team alone, diba, by himself. He can change the character of that team. So let's see, man. I mean,
Well, we'll see. Denver's 2-0. Well, you talked about the Grizzlies, so let's go to the next. So it's the Grizzlies here because I think the Grizzlies could have been easily 3-0. They were
right
up against the
earlier,
Lakers.
no? Yep.
They were up against the Lakers kanina. The Lakers eventually took the lead and had to hold them off pa
Yep.
because it got really close. But eventually, yes, Memphis lost that one. But Ja has been playing out of his mind. Ja
Yes.
Morant is they could easily be. So I think the Warriors will lose to them in 2 games. I think because they're facing who's the Warriors facing next? I forgot. But I think they might lose to Memphis.
You think Ja Morant will qualify for most improved player this year? Or was he good enough already last year that this might not?
You know what? With the way John Morant's playing, I'm going to mimic that NBA media guy who said it. John Morant plays the way he's playing, and Memphis goes top four. Wag na most improved. He might win also MVP.
True. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
ouch. Did I say
but
that?
yeah, but I don't know, dude. Parang that's a reach.
That's no, yeah.
But
Diba?
well,
He'll be
that's a reach
scoring
because
40.
if well, ako if they do make it top 4 in the West, sure, give
Diba?
it to him. Yeah.
That's
Give
why.
it to
They're
him.
top four siya. So rounding up the top 8 now in the West would be Portland, Dallas, and Phoenix. Well, I'd say Phoenix, the Lakers also, and all these other 1-2s. So you have Lakers, Rockets, Kings, San Antonio at 1-2, the Clippers and the Pelicans, and of course the Thunder, who's forever going to be down there. Those are the undefeated teams.
Yeah, that's
Not undefeated, what do you call it? No win teams
yeah.
in the West.
So yeah,
Anything,
those teams are the reasons why we'll never get the top pick next year. No matter how
because
hard we try. No matter
because
how hard we try,
because Pop won't tank that much, ha, di ba?
we won't. Yeah.
Oo nga.
Although they're ano lang they're a few games behind lang. We're one game above them lang. So,
I know.
we're one game above them lang. Let's see. We're facing the Lakers on Wednesday.
Anything hit you with the undefeated teams or the ones below that you want to talk about?
Well, ako, it's too early to say really for me. Siguro it's a better discussion if we get at least mga 10, 15 games in,
Yeah.
and we can, all of the, the standings normalize, so to speak. So, and we see more of what we were expecting
Yeah.
prior to the season. So,
Because I don't think, I mean, Phoenix and Lakers at 1-2, I don't believe in that yet. I mean, the Lakers are going to have a
Yeah,
very easy schedule after they beat
right,
Memphis today.
right.
So,
Again, yeah,
um,
it's also the schedule then
yep.
of teams they face in those first three games,
Even
diba? So
even Golden State, huh? I'm predicting Golden State to go about 9-1.
yeah, yeah.
Basta they get past ano, and the one loss because they have two games, one against Memphis, one against Charlotte. I'm predicting that they lose to one of those. You know what I mean? Because if not, they'll
Yeah,
sweep the whole thing.
yeah.
They'll
Well,
sweep.
the
They'll sweep.
Spurs, to be honest, I mean, it's this. This is how it doesn't mean a thing. The Spurs are 1-2 because they had to face Denver and the defending champs in their second and third games. So if they
Yeah,
faced, if they faced OKC and the Pelicans, we could have easily been 3-0, and that
yeah.
wouldn't have meant anything.
Anything. That's what happens when the standings are very
Yeah,
very early. But I'll
yeah.
tell you this: that Oklahoma will be always there in the bottom
Ah,
before we
yeah.
move into our
Parang
next
hindi
segment.
naalis yun. I think they're getting
Okay.
the first pick again next year.
Yeah. Before we move na into our next segment, basta Oklahoma
Pero
will
just
be
a
there.
note, siguro if I were to comment lang, I mean, there's a rookie in OKC that's worth looking
Josh
at.
Giddey.
Josh Giddey, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
he had a
he
good
had a
game today.
bad 2 games, but today, I mean, he's starting to show some flash, and dude, he can be a baby Lamelo. I mean, I kind of see
He can be an Aussie Lamelo.
Aussie Lamelo, diba? Na that they
Excuse
have
my
the
accent. I apologize to all the Australians who are
okay, so
watching.
that so wait, so that was so,
I
okay.
don't know.
I didn't even
I
catch
don't
that.
know, pare. I don't know the.
I didn't even know that
I,
that's what you
I
were
just said
doing.
I just said Lamelo with a twang, and I expected it to be Australian already. So take I outed
But yeah,
myself by
man,
even no one would have noticed. I just thought Siguro I had a weird mispronunciation of his name, and then I had to
medyo
out
the
myself.
ano ko yan, dark horse ko yan. A lot of people are talking about Duarte
Rookie of the
now,
year,
and yeah, no, not probably not rookie of the year, but I think
but
he'll be one of the better rookies by the end of
oi
the season. Hopefully,
before
if it's nuts though. I mean, I say that knowing also that the rotation of OKC is pretty. It's crazy the way they
if he starts
rotate. I don't
if
know.
he starts
I don't know.
playing too well, ibababangko yan.
Yeah, yun na nga eh. So
Ganun.
so let's see.
Oh, but
Let's see.
I'll
It'll
notice
be
Jalen Green arrived today, in the Houston game. He scored
yeah.
30 points, pare.
Who
8
were
for
they
10.
against? Who were they
They were
against?
against Boston. They were leading.
Okay.
Boston had to come back to beat them because Jalen Green was going nuts in the first half by scoring all these three pointers. He went 8 for 10 in the game from three, scored 30 points.
So by
He
figured
realized,
na his slashing game
yeah,
needs tumira muna siya sa labas until he can
tira
build
na
up
lang siya
that
sa labas
body.
dahil hindi siya makapasok dahil ang liit ng
Uh,
katawan niya.
uh,
Ganon lang yun. Okay, so let's
all
move
right.
out of this already. I think we covered pretty much the whole league.
Yep.
Um, and we'll go now to the huddle. Our
Yep.
huddle. Our huddle for today will talk about, of course, we'll talk about what was the hot topic recently
Yeah, the
is
past few days is
the past
the
few days is the NBA 75. So the National Basketball Association celebrated their 75th season this year. So they came up just like the 50th celebration. They came up with a list 75 their anniversary team. So this is the 75 players. I wouldn't say the best players, or do you say the best players of the NBA, or just the
well,
75?
I think well, isn't it the best players in the past 75 years?
Yeah, that's why it's causing so much debate,
Yes,
because they
yes,
call it the
yes.
because the term best players is so it's so how do you really quantify the best players? Wala naman
Right.
set. So again, these are the seven. This is the 75th anniversary team of the NBA. Hey, but I didn't know this. It's actually 76 because there was a tie in voting. I didn't
Really?
count this correctly. Yep, it says right there. I saw it also. As a result of a tie in voting, the 75th anniversary team features 76 players.
So that explains the 77 jersey ni Clay Thompson. It was
Oh
number.
yeah. Oh nga, no, yeah, that's
So
that's
that
right.
explains it. So he was
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, for
Okay.
those who don't know, Clay Thompson was pissed off that he was not included in the 70 5 list. So what the Warriors did is that they made him a jersey that said number 77. So happy naman daw siya that he gets to be have his own jersey. That's he's the number 77th player in the NBA the last 75 years. But we were wondering why, di ba? Yung pala, oh nga, there's actually 76 players on this list. So go, Mike. Do you have any
So
hot
I'll start by
takes?
saying that this for me this is the same as MVP voting. It's the players here were voted by media,
And
general
some old
managers,
players, yeah.
new and old players, new and old general managers. So essentially, people in the industry. And if you have voting like that, it will always be a popularity contest. And there will never be a defined criteria on how you qualify players for this list. So,
Yes.
and probably that's probably the reason why there are less popular players here that should be here, and even recency bias comes in because like I said, there's the timing to these things. In 96 when they came out with the top 50, a lot of players were not included. I mean, Shaq was supposed, 'di ba? Parang si Shaq was a big snub
Yeah, yeah,
there,
yeah,
'di
yeah.
ba?
Yep, yep.
But then kasi that's also recency bias. I'll give the example naman for that here is probably I would think Dwight Howard. If this list was created 10, 15 years ago, he probably would be on the list.
Yeah, that's true. Well, mga 10, mga 5 years ago siguro.
5 years ago, 'di ba? Na
Kasi
when he
10, 15
was
years ago, rookie pa lang siya.
yeah, mga 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago in the 2010s when he was, 'di ba? When he was competing, he was carrying his
Yeah,
team, 'di
yeah.
ba? So,
When he was Dwight of Orlando Magic going to the finals.
yes, yes.
Yes.
'Di ba? He could have
Yeah.
easily just because of the timing of when it came out. So that is a factor, sadly, with these things. So I wouldn't say it's there will always be a debate on who should not be here, bakit pinasok to, this guy should have been here instead of this guy,
Yeah.
things
You
like that.
you
There will always be
you
debate with
had a
these things.
you had a few takes on who you would put in here. You had
Yeah, I
some.
mean, actually, more if my takes are actually more the two that were included that shouldn't be there.
Do we have the same person?
I think we do. I don't know. I have AD and Dame.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So
So we have this. We have
so
the same. We have the same person. And so you're okay with James Harden?
I'm okay with Harden. It's Harden kasi he has that MVP. So
Yeah.
there
Yes.
is some
Yeah.
argument, diba? There is some I mean, like even Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
he had
diba?
that triple double.
He
Yeah.
had the
Okay.
triple
Okay.
double year, diba? So there were again kasi you can talk about different things, a number of MVPs, number of championships. I see arguments online talking about number of championships, did he carry his team, this and that.
Paul
But the thing is,
Pierce.
it's not kasi clear the criteria, diba? It's not
That's true.
clear the
Yeah.
criteria.
Okay. We,
That's why it's magulo.
we still have a few more minutes to really deep dive into this. Would you, for example, here's the problem with me kasi also me also it was AD and Dame. I mean, I would have put honestly Clay and maybe even Dwight. Sad to say, it's Dwight,
Mhm.
maybe even T Mac. I don't know, but T Mac would probably be like teams. I'd probably put Dwight because he was in the finals. But here's my question, and I can't answer this. I can't answer this objectively or because what about people like Dave DeBusschere? Sad. I mean, people like Dave
The
DeBusschere. I mean,
Boucher, the Boucher.
DeBusschere.
Uh,
It might be sacrilegious, huh? Or maybe a Dolph Chase or Bill Sharman and all that. How do we know, Miha? How do we know they are as good or still have to be there as compared to the newer players now? I've never seen them play. They were good in their times. So I can understand how you put George Mikan there because Mikan was the start of the NBA big man, diba? And all
mhm,
that.
mhm,
How does Bill Sharman give me the NBA 75 experience or Dolph Chase? I mean, I
right.
know they were great then, but I think Bill Sharman was the Celtics, so they won. I have to check if Dolph Chase won titles also. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So how was what was
Here's
their
here's my question, because here's my question to your question.
Yeah.
Did they have a top set 25 list kaya during the 25th anniversary? Because what I noticed here is from the top 50, they did not remove anyone. So
Are you
they
serious? Talagang,
basically, yes. So they basically just added 25 to the top 50 list.
yeah, because
Kasi
medyo what
ako
that medyo
I understand the ano to that kasi parang it would
disrespectful.
look
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, it would
Yeah. Yeah.
na pumasok ka sa top 50 and then all of a sudden you get bumped off just because ano. So I think what they're doing here is just they're just adding and adding to it. Now maybe again to answer siguro your question, this could be the answer to your question is maybe Dave Deboucher was top 50 material during in 96 and they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
take him out, diba?
No, but
So
diba,
it could be that.
that's my question nga also. It's like what's a bagay? No, that's really hard. It really would be an insult. I mean, shit.
Yes,
The the
diba?
the family of Dolph Chase. And diba his son played in the NBA. I remember Danny
Mm,
Chase. Remember him?
mm,
Siya yung
yeah.
anak ni Dolph Chase. Eh. That'd really be an insult also if naka top 25 ka, naka top 50, biglang pag top 75 wala ka na sa
Yeah.
listahan. Yeah. So technically this NBA top 25 list, I mean this quarter of a century that they're going to be doing this, it's always just adding 25 players
Yeah.
every 25 years.
Yes.
Diba? So
And ako, you know how I look at this? Look at this as a basically these are the top 75 ambassadors of the game. Just look at it that
yes.
way.
Yep.
'Di ba? Kasi
And
it's pretty much what they're trying to put out here. Basically, this is the history of the league. These are the players that walked the courts and did great things on the court. And this is if they were to pick 75 ambassadors to represent the history of the NBA, this is the
yeah.
75 or the 76, 'di ba?
And for me, I'm so biased. That's why I want Clay there because you got to have the Splash Brothers, man.
I mean, if we're gonna talk with that argument, here's my thing. Okay, let's talk about who we think should be there. You were because I remember we've been talking about it for a few days already on how
You have a
you
Hulk, I
wanted
remember. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah
know
you
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 have
wanted
one.
Clay. Kasi ako,
Yeah.
if you're gonna talk about that, syempre ako being a Spurs fan,
Tony
I wish
Parker.
na si Tony Parker or even Manu sana could have been there, but I understand why they are not. But I can also pull up stats to argue Tony Parker against Dame.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking of about that actually. They're both six-time All-Stars. They both have,
Yeah,
very similar accolades. The difference lang with Dame having more first NBA first NBA first all NBA first
yeah.
team.
All NBA
But
first
Tony
team.
has that finals MVP over him.
Yeah.
So I
No,
can argue that.
I'd make a
But
case for Tony any day. I mean, Manu for me is like me pushing Draymond, to be honest.
yes, hindi, but
Ganon
it's
yun.
funny lang kasi when you were saying na because how the Splash Brothers changed the landscape of the NBA. So there can be that impact also that the player brings and not necessarily the personal accolades or the championships or whatever, but how he impacted the game, diba? And that's why Steph is a shoe in here. It's because he really changed the
Yes.
game with his shooting, diba? Now, if we're gonna use that argument, then I can argue, like I said, I understand why Manu and TP are not here. But if we're gonna use that argument, I can argue Manu also as bringing that kind of impact to the game with this Euro step, which is the move that all attacking NBA players use today. And
Yes,
he
yes.
was the one who started that. So there's that argument with that. If we're gonna go that
That's
direction
true.
with talking up players into this list. So yeah, pero
Well,
kung ako, okay, here's my take. AD, take out AD and Dame, throw in ako I sad to say Dwight also, and maybe I'm back and forth between to be honest I'm back and forth between T Mac and Clay.
I'm okay with AD, whether it was AD or Dwight. So we can, and I'd really put Clay. I don't think Dame should be there yet. I don't think Dame has done anything
Yeah,
really.
si
I mean,
Dame.
Dame is cool. I like his Dame time. I mean, he's a good ambassador to the game, but um, you have to impact the game in terms of winning and bringing your team and championships and all that. So it's just Clay, or I wouldn't even mind TP if TP bumped off Clay. I can find pang a logic in that ng konti. So anything else? We can close
No,
this.
yeah, we're
We're
good.
good. It's a good list though, to be honest. It's a pretty
Yeah,
good
it
list.
is. It is.
Okay. So we're running down to our last, ano ba, last 2 minutes, last 5 minutes of the
Yeah,
show in our next portion called
overtime.
overtime.
Yeah, where we do
And
fantasy basketball
yeah,
Monday.
we're gonna do fantasy basketball Monday. And what exactly, boy, are we gonna talk about with fantasy basketball? We were talking about it kanina. Are we gonna show ba our league? Are we gonna no? We're gonna have our quick takes. And here, as of right now, as of the first week of the NBA, we're gonna show the top. Ilan ba to? These are the top fantasy players as of today, right? As of today's games,
Yep.
based on basketballmonster.com. And if you guys got these any of these players in the late rounds, maswerte kayo. So let's start off. Paul George, Mike,
Paul
number
George,
one.
yeah. Paul George
Siyempre,
is what? Fourth round pick. Mga fourth round pick yan, di ba?
no naman, mga second, third.
Second to
Yeah,
third.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But he's heavy
CJ, si
listing
CJ pala. CJ pala
CJ. Is
is the third to fourth
yeah.
rounder. Yeah.
So it's Paul George, CJ, Steph, not Steph. Steph is understandable. Kevin Durant, understandable. Miles Bridges, dude.
Yes. Yan, isa pa yan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see
Nick,
if how he can sustain it.
yeah, malamang. Nikola Jokic, Kat, of course, those are all first rounders. Julius Randle, sana nga I got him instead of Westbrook. Kainis in my other league.
Tell me about it.
Dapat nga I got.
I have Westbrook in one of my leagues also. Actually, yan, si
Uh,
Miles Bridges actually would be a good buy sell high now. If you have
yes,
Miles Bridges, you might be able to sell high with
yes.
him.
LaMelo Ball, number 9. Ja Morant, I'm shocked. Yes, but Ja Morant, third, fourth rounder din yan, ha? Mga
Yeah.
40 pick, mga 40th, ganun.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball, I picked him up in the 5th round, if I believe.
Malcolm
Uh,
Brogdon, Jay's favorite yan.
yep.
Bata ni Jay yan.
Bata ni James. Lonzo Ball. Di ba my teams are have the ball?
Yeah.
Ball ako this year, eh. Why? LaMelo Ball and Lonzo Ball.
Well, yeah, and it's so cool because you even paired them with a Dick player, dude. So
Who's the two? Russell Westbrook. Anyway. Where are we? Joel Embiid at 13.
yeah, that's
He
already
should be
kasi the
higher.
first rounder yan, di ba? First
Yeah.
rounder normally yan.
See, I told you, pare. Al Horford. Tingnan mo.
Dude, I
Dude,
have him. I have him in
dude,
2 leagues.
last round pick yan, ha? Sometimes.
Dude, I got him 13th pick
Exactly.
in
Yep.
one of my leagues.
And he's this high because of his blocks and his steals, dude.
Yeah, he had a no. I doubt I had him also. I've had him for a few years already. Yeah, this is ano yan, parang Jalen Brown effect
Yeah.
yan. Umpisa ng season but he'll be inconsistent.
Yeah, but still, for a 13th, even if he drops down
Yeah.
to about 50,
Yeah,
50th,
man. I mean, yeah.
okay lang yan.
Yep.
He killed nga my Robert Williams today because he took all the stats, kainis.
Yeah, dude, he was solid in both fantasy points format and line count.
Yeah. Harrison Barnes, number 15, as of right now, playing really well also. Wow, dalawang
Yeah.
sack. Oh. Harrison Barnes,
Yep.
Rashawn Holmes. Isang bata pa ni Jay, Sabonis at number 17.
Sabonis favorite. Did
Favorite yan. He fought for that talaga in our that experimental league. Bradley Beal at 18.
my third pick.
Yep. Spencer Dinwiddie at 19 and Zach Levine. Zach Levine pa nga. He had a bad
Ande,
game.
yan. Yeah. Oh. I have both. I have those two players with Tatum in one of my leagues. Remember, I have Bill Levine and Tatum, dude. So
Okay. So for our overtime portion, before we end this, who's your favorite pickup as of right now?
favorite
Based on
pickup. Well, I haven't picked up a lot. Ricky Rubio. Ever
Ricky
since Ricky
Rubio.
Rubio, ever since Garland went down,
Yeah.
he's been solid, man. I mean,
I just dropped him. Because I streamed him lang. But yeah, Ricky Rubio has been good, man.
and Garland's still questionable, so I'm keeping
Yeah.
him for now.
Okay. My
Yeah.
best one so far, well, there's no one here in this list, but I think honestly, my best one would probably be Lonzo. Or if not,
Lon-
okay, but Lonzo.
Are
'Cause
you
I
are
think
you talking about Actually, you're talking about the general or waiver wire?
Oh, well,
I was
ano,
talking
sige.
about waiver wire.
Okay, waiver wire pressures at Chua
Yes, I
so
have him
far.
also. Solid din.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, the guy I mentioned earlier, Josh Giddey, played well today again.
But
I
I
played
dropped him.
well again for the first time. So
But I
I'm
dropped
keep
him also in our league.
yeah, and EJ picked him up, diba? Yeah,
No, Jay picked him up, and then I
no,
think
no.
Mikael. Yeah, Jay,
Okay, okay.
and
No, no,
then
si
and then
EJ.
EJ ba?
Yeah. So anyway,
Whom's anyway. So we can finally, but yeah. So every Monday we'll be checking out the top fantasy players and giving our takes and
and
maybe
actually,
talking.
yeah, if since we're talking about the best players, let me give out lang two. Actually, I had two in mind already that I wanted to mention in the show, who I call the
I'll go.
Potsu players of the week, because
I'll go.
they were busts so far. But then it's funny, like I voodooed them to play good games today, because I was gonna mention Van Vliet, who was a third rounder, who was ranked as a third rounder during the draft. He really had, the first his first two games were crap,
Yeah.
and then he started balling earlier after I mentioned it. Same with Tatum. Tatum had a really lousy first two games, and then he balled earlier also, and then brought scored the way he would he the way he would score. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I voodooed them because of my
Basta
comment from 2 days ago.
then
Na I was gonna mention them. Yeah. So
basta can you voodoo Westbrook to have a better to have a
yeah, yeah, I have
yeah.
been. I have been.
Okay.
Kasi I have him also, dude. So meron
I
tayong
have
mutual interest dyan.
kay Westbrook. Okay, let's
All
go. I
right.
mean, okay, that's it. That's it for our show, man. That's so we're kind of a little we are a little bit over time, but I think we're okay. We're 36 minutes into the show, and
Pagalitan
this
tayo
is
ni Jay yan. Dalawa na lang
oh
tayo.
nga.
Nag-overtime pa.
Well, we're supposed to
Pagalitan
be.
tayo ni Direk.
Well, Direct's not here, so
Uh,
when the
uh,
Direct's not here, the
here.
mouse
Yeah.
plays.
Something like that.
Something like that. Thank you for watching The Bench. This is our Monday edition. We will be back on Thursday for another
Yeah.
show, talking about the games, talking about another topic in the huddle, and we'll see what our overtime brings on Thursday. So, thank you for watching. Please do again
Yep.
like us and follow us on Facebook. If you already do, please share our episodes if you do
Yes,
like what
please.
you hear. And our YouTube, please subscribe. We need subscribers on YouTube. Baka mawala channel natin.
Yes. Yes,
So,
please.
bye. It's a Monday night, October 25. And you have any wise words, or do we just go out?
Let's just go out, man. So
Remember, guys,
that was the show. We said it first here on
the
the
bench.
bench.
Our
Bye-bye.
what's that? Bye-bye. Our endings are getting weird, but
Bye-bye.
peace.